Good morning, dear participants of Georgia Youth Business Cup 2019. It's a pleasure to be here with you once again. And I see the numbers looking around here that the video is increasing as well. And naturally, as we're getting closer to the end of stage one of the competition, things are definitely heating up. So first and foremost, we have only 2 days left till the stage 1 of Georgia Youth Business Cup 2019 ends, which means that you have recalculation that will be happening from today. So that means from Thursday to Friday, and then from Friday to Saturday. And that will be the one, and actually the last one, which will be taken into consideration. So all in all, you have 2 days to maximize your profit at the moment as you're running the business. So in this case, probably expansion towards production shouldn't be continued. You should be focusing on maximizing your gains as much as possible in order to end up in top 30 and be the ones chosen for the final stage of the cup. And naturally, we will meet live in Tbilisi next Monday. That's 30th of September. So, and now let's get busy and see how our ratings look like, shall we? So, there we are. And these are the ratings of the last recalculation. They turn 6 to be more specific. So as we can see, interestingly enough, well, Cyrynoza did jump out forward. I did expect them to look really good, but I didn't expect them to be that much in the lead. Obviously, what we saw yesterday, that Cyrynoza made impressive investments in order to expand their business line, right, or the whole business structure. So we saw a huge amount of various business units, and I'm guessing these were only the beginning. We also see that Mcholo-Kava also are in the second place and pushed out Emarket into the fourth place. And well, 809 Limited is also pretty pushed out the Emarket as well. Interestingly enough, even though the third and fourth place have pretty similar profits, well, overall 50 million could look not that much, but as we can see, little by little, it will be difficult for Emarket to get back to top 3 with this kind of performance, both wise the revenue generated per turn as well as profit per turn. And as well as we can see that Emarket is gaining asset value, which means they're also probably investing or gaining some additional goods that they're willing to sell. Of course, who will be in the first place, either Cyrynoza or Mcholo-Kava, we shall see either tomorrow or, well, actually on Saturday morning. Now, let's check out what is happening here and what kind of leaders do we have here and how do they look like and why they are here. And probably for majority, the main question is, how did that happen, right? I mean, billions. We're talking billions now. So there we are with Cyrynoza Incorporated. The overall value of the company is 36 billion. And the answer is actually quite obvious when you start scrolling down and down and down and down and even more down and down and down and down and down. So as you can see, we have lots of different business units. At this point, we have an amazing lineup of auto repair shops in LA, as well as hitting Brazil a bit. But naturally, these guys are these locations are in America. Also, we can see a lineup of stores looking quite impressive and pretty huge kindergarten as well in San Francisco. So there are a lot of business units and additional auto repair shops in Germany as well, and another kindergarten in Austin also coming up, and then additional restaurants, another kindergarten, and so on and so forth. So this, if we start sorting them out, we would see that, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. out of repair shops so far. So these are looking good, and naturally, I'm guessing this is one of the reasons why this participant is at the moment in the leading position, as well as we have seen free kindergartens, also amazing amount of work offices, and as well as we can see additionally also restaurants. We have 6 restaurants here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. If I counted right, we have 18 stores. Impressive. I mean, this is obvious why this company is leading at the moment. Obviously, this takes a pretty decent amount of time to manage properly. But of course, if you have found your optimal marketing mix as well as combinations of the variables that you're managing, and if you're simply duplicating or simply copying the same strategy and applying it in a similar fashion in all these stores at this point, you'll see that it does work out. At this point, a very similar methodics is being used by big companies that have network of stores, international brands. You could see that as well, put up very similarly. But of course, as we can see, some of the products are a little bit different because in some cases we have clothing with a little bit of food as well as some even cars. In some cases the product lineup is a little bit different, so I believe depends who's selling what and where and what selling price is the best considering the profit margin gained. So either way, this is impressive, and sheer size gives you a very good explanation why they have huge revenue as well as profit. Now, we have to take into consideration that management, I mean, real time required to manage this kind of business, well, giant, literally required. I mean, the time is required is quite high. So we have to consider the fact that we will need a lot of time. The bigger the company, the more time you will have to spend in order to manage a company like that. So at this point, you want to prioritize. Why it's important to prioritize? Because when you will be getting into the second stage, you won't have that much time. So you will have to make your decisions quick and also make all your actions pretty fast. So that means you will have to choose your priorities correctly and focus on those parts of your business that generate you the biggest part of the profit, or at least have the biggest potential to do that. Now, if we jump on to second place, that's Mcholokava, and there we are. So the office is, I see, advertising some computers and gifts and souvenirs. And as we can see, there is, let's do some sorting and see how they look like. So also some repair shops, a little bit less. Also we see a fitness center, 2 factories, 2 gift factories, as well as 2 kindergartens, medical center, and a decent amount of stores. And this is also looking pretty good, pretty impressive. Maybe not the best choice because we have only a couple of those in America, which means their buying power is bigger and they have more chances, let's say, to gain more and increase their profitability naturally more. But this is also a pretty decent lineup and looking pretty good. So we'll see how that goes, and will they be able to catch up to Sirinoza? At this point, well, looking about the profits and revenue per turn generated, doesn't look very likely, but, well, who knows? This is really now the question of really, do they have that sport interest in the whole thing to do it or not? Now, as we can see, the 8.9 Limited also had a nice lineup, a couple of kindergarten, couple of restaurants, and some stores. So given their result generated so far, they're looking pretty good, and one of the reasons, in my opinion, is that we can see it at this store. And this is, this is the one. This is the one that generates a huge amount of profit for them. So one essential Question is, how do they do that from 500 square meter store only? And the product lineup shows the whole thing. So in this case, I think the size also would help out a lot, but their situation is looking good. And once again, try to maximize your profit and try to find the strategy that works. This is the time when at least top 10 could be experimenting, like TravelBuddy. In my opinion, this company is, as we can see, they generate -8, well, almost -9 million, so which means they've been investing heavily in expanding their business line, or they made a huge mistake. But given the amount of money spent, so I'm guessing they had huge purchases or build up, which, well, we'll see, will that pay off or not. And coming back to eMarket, so there we are. So we do have stores already in eMarket. So you did decide to expand into United States as well, which is, well, finally, huh? And we'll see how that goes. We'll see how many results you will be able to generate over a pretty short time that you still have left. So remember, the things that you will buy this turn, they will arrive in your stores tomorrow, which means Friday is not good for purchases. We have to take into consideration that what is good for purchases is exactly today, given the typical timing. So timing in the simulation, as you remember, works the following way. The things we order into our stores will arrive only next recalculation. Remember that. So which means the goods that you will order today will arrive tomorrow, and they will be sold, given that you will have enough advertising, people and place and all that, they will be sold during the last recalculation, and that is your last chance to increase your profits. So think that through, and also don't try to maximize your expenses on the last day. That's my recommendation, because making any purchases tomorrow is a little bit useless. Now, what you need to do is you need to sell all the production or the goods that you managed to generate, right? So that is essential. Also, we had a question regarding the top manager. So once again, top manager is a qualification, or in other words, qualification of your head office, or let's say even also we could put it as your qualification to manage a certain amount of employees working in a certain specific industry or area of expertise. So for example, management is responsible for overall management of, or qualification of, managing big offices, right? The marketing is really about the advertising and spending marketing advertising money properly. The same goes for commerce as the stores, and so on and so forth. From the beginning, you have a pretty decent high qualification setup that should be enough, but if you will see that your top manager qualification is not enough, then maybe you should slow down a bit and maybe, well, simplify something. And that also affects the quality of computers in your offices, the amount of employees that you hire, and so on and so forth. So sometimes there are certain limits, and naturally at this point, this is your limit at the moment. As you can see, these do grow, but in a short-term game like we're having in stage 1 and stage 2, the growth will not matter that much. Once again, congratulations to those who are in the top, and also good luck trying to maintain your level of, well, revenue and income. Hopefully that will work for these guys. And in order to be in top 30, I see some quite interesting expenditure and growing expenses, naturally investments into and development of your business lines. Hopefully everything work out for most of you, and we will have a nice setup on Monday during the finals. So either way, I see forward to see who will be in number 1 later on, or let's say on Saturday morning. And I wish you good luck at this point to maintain your performance and not to slow down. Now, naturally, once again, as you see, there's a lot of movement going on in the ratings, and we can now pretty much clearly see that the more business units, the more successful business units you have, the more revenue and profit you can generate. It's not exactly that easy to manage that amount of business units, and I can clearly state that in Surinoza's case, they invested a huge amount of time and effort in order to arrange that kind of setup, which definitely is not easy. It's time consuming, it can be challenging, and every single business unit has to be, well, there's a lot of analysis that has to be made, analyzing the market as well as product setup, and so on and so forth. But this is a very good explanation how a certain market hypothesis can be applied in different environments, and if these are pretty much similar, they can be applied the same way, or another hypothesis can be created. But overall, mechanics is still the same. All the business relations or relations on let's say if we approach this as a system-based unit, right, a company, right? We always have the same. For example, in the stores, we always have 5 P's of the marketing. So these are the core system elements. All we have to find out that connections between these elements can differ in different environments. So in this case, if you found the feel for those connections, then it's quite easy to start scaling up. And I think that Surinoza is a very good example how you can do it. I believe this is a lesson that Surinoza is teaching other participants as well at this point, and something that you might want to try out during the finals. But once again, you will have to take in consideration that environment will be different. I will be talking a little bit more about that environment tomorrow. So in this case, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how the ratings will be progressing, and I will give you more explanations about the things that are coming up or will be coming up on Monday. So good luck once again. This is the last turn for that I would recommend for purchasing goods, especially into your stores, because the purchases made tomorrow will make no difference. They will only increase your expenses, because the things you will buy on Friday will arrive only on Saturday morning, and that would be a waste of your cash because you won't be able to sell them. So maximize on your sales today. I wish you good luck and see you tomorrow.